Hey everybody! Welcome to a new video on E.Stampley art. And apparently July is watercolor month. And one of my 2019 art goals is actually to learn and do some watercolors this year. So I figured I would go uber basic to start out. And when I say uber basic, I mean uber basic. So I got this very cheap watercolor cake set, probably paid about, I don't know, $3-4 for it. So I'm gonna swatch all of these pretty little color babies out on my paper and just to see what they look like, and then we're gonna go from there and then probably create a little doodle to see what I can do with them. Okay, so let's try that out now, shall we? So this is white. Pretty sure that's gonna look like absolutely nothing. So I don't even know why that's there, but okay. Although you can see a little bit of residue in the water, so I guess there's something going on there. Okay, now we've got yellow. Okay. Oh, that's pretty, actually. Just so you know, I don't think this is a specific watercolor brush. I think this is one of those, supposed to be all around mixed media brushes, I believe. So it's not specifically a watercolor brush. Oh, that's pretty. I'd actually be kind of good doing these because I think I'm gonna get a I think, what is it, that Cotman set? I think that's what I've read as a good kind of starter set for actual watercolor. I think it might be student grade, which I think might be what I might, oh, that's nice, what I might get to try out for quote-unquote real watercolor. I think the hardest thing for me is going to be doing the light to dark. I think that's going to be the hardest thing, is thinking of the white of the paper as your white and then creating everything around it. I think that's going to be probably my biggest hurdle. These are kind of similar. I don't know. But we will see. It's actually a nice dark green. My water's getting so dirty. I think that's supposed to be brown, or like a terracotta, I guess. Yeah, it's supposed to be black. Okay. So now we need to clean our water, definitely, because this is filthy. Okay, so there's our wonderful swatches. Got some really pretty colors there, I think. Yeah, some really nice colors, I think, that I can work with. So I think I'm going to do a little sketch down here, and one of my favorite things to draw in color are flowers. So I just took some pictures of some sunflowers that I got, and here's one of the pictures that I'm going to use as reference. So I have that over here, but you can see what I'm looking at. I'm actually really excited about doing this journey of watercolor. I've seen a lot of artists on YouTube using watercolor, and it seems very fun to use, and you know, once you kind of, I guess, sort of know what you're doing, it can do really neat things with color. And it'll be a different way of coloring my artwork. I'm kind of used to using like colored pencils and markers, but not so much paint. I'm a little more experienced with like acrylic, and I've used gouache before. It's been a very long time since I've used gouache, but I've never used watercolor. So I'm used to using paints that are very opaque. Watercolor is very transparent, and it's about layering, which I love doing in Photoshop, so maybe I'll like doing it in real life. So before filling in the color on the sunflower, I wanted to test out doing a couple of standard watercolor techniques that I've seen. So I tried doing some wet on wet, where you mix two colors that are wet together. Also the wet on dry, I'm gonna get back to that. Also dry brushing, where you use a little bit of water and then just kind of let the color fade out. You get nice textures. Also doing like a flat wash of color, where you try to fill in a space all in the same tone. Gradated wash, my example may not be the best example, but where you start off with the darkest tone and then add some water to kind of lighten it down and tone it down as it goes down. And also a variegated wash, where you use two different colors to kind of blend together to get sort of a gradated tone, but with two colors. And with the wet on dry, I went back after the green had dried and put some orange over it. And so it kind of gives you a little bit more sharper tones over color, as opposed to them blending together if they were both wet. So after trying a couple of these techniques, I think we can move on to actually filling in the color for the sunflower. I did learn when doing the different tests, like the wet on wet, wet on dry, that I needed to add a little bit more water to my cakes while working on with them. So I'm almost afraid to use too much water because I don't want to dilute the color so much, but also I have to remember this is also about layering, so you can make it deeper and brighter as you go along. So just have to remember that. Right now I'm just kind of trying to concentrate on getting the base colors filled in and then go from there. Remember, it's a little, okay, don't like that brush. So I was going to use the one brush that came with the set, but hairs are coming off of it already, and its little point is kind of non-existent now, so I'm going to set it aside and not use it for this because I don't want hairs in my paint. That is irritating. I think the graphite is kind of mixing with my color for this one a little bit, it looks like, because it's a little duller. It's a duller yellow anyway, but I think it's getting a little muddy because of the graphite. That's okay. It's kind of cool. I'm seeing like the effect of like the gradation that I'm trying to do as I'm going around and it's drying. So that's really cool. But I definitely see how like you build up your colors. I'm sure there's some watercolorists who are probably maybe watching this and going, "Oh, she's doing that all wrong." And if I am, feel free and let me know down in the comments below what I'm doing wrong so I can obviously correct that, because I would definitely like to get better at this. You know, I've never really worked with watercolors before. I'm just kind of winging it off of different videos that I've seen. Of people who do use watercolor and just what I am wanting to see as far as color goes. I wonder if I'm gonna try something. There's this white watercolor. I don't really know if it does anything. I want to see if I can get it to do something. I'm curious, see if I can get this to do what I'm thinking. Sorta. Doing it straight from the cake. Or okay. Let's see how this can be helpful. I know I read a lot of things online. People are like, well, if you want to use white watercolor, just get some white gouache. Just, you know. Which, yeah, I suppose is true, you know, if you want pure white. I just like the little, just a little brightness on the tip of these. I'm liking how this bottom is turning out. I like this better than this side, so I think I'm going to use this darker color that kind of mixed together. The one thing I am starting to notice, and this could be a combination of things, I think it probably has to do more with the watercolor, is I'm noticing as it's drying, the colors aren't as vibrant. It looks like they're kind of ashy, honestly. I don't know, it could be the watercolor, or it could be the cakes, obviously, or the paper, or it could be a combination of both. I'm thinking probably that, since this isn't watercolor paper and I am using, you know, a good amount of water. The paper is kind of fighting me on it. That's okay. But I'm also tending to think that it might be the actual watercolor material, or maybe it's just the way they dry, but I don't think that's correct. The ashiness is becoming disheartening because I don't want it to be ashy. Well, there you go, my first watercolor piece. I'm, you know, genuinely happy with how it turned out. I really liked my sketch, and the colors are pretty okay. Like I said, my one issue is I notice as I start putting the color down and it dries, it gets this hue and this haze over it as you build up the color. My feeling is it has more to do with the watercolor than it does the paper. This is a mixed media paper. It's supposed to take a little bit of water, probably not as much as I used, but because I am getting a little bit of warping, as you can see. But it just feels like there's a weird little haze and stuff over it. But overall, I'm very happy with using watercolor. I've learned that I need probably about 3 jars of water to be able to rinse my brushes and keep going at a decent rate. But yeah, I really enjoyed it and can't wait to do more watercolor pieces, definitely. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for going through my first watercolor journey with me. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a nice thumbs up down below. And also, if you want to be notified about new videos when they come out, feel free to hit that red subscribe button down below as well. And you can also follow my artistic journey on Twitter or Instagram at E.Stampley Art. Just want to thank you guys again for watching, and if you have any suggestions with watercolor or tips or techniques, I would greatly appreciate them. Feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you again for watching. Bye!